this lesson, we're going to review the index match formula working together. This is a very common formula where the match formula is nested within the index formula. The index match formula is a good alternative to a nested if formula, or by using the ifs formula. For instance, if you have a table of data that you need to reference in a formula, and there's a common connection between the table that you're working on and the reference table, for example, a customer ID, then you can use the index match formula together to sync the data between the two tables. Let's take a look at the formula in greater detail. The formula combines the index and match formulas together in one equation. We've previously looked at the index and match formulas independently in separate lessons. When using the index and match formula together, the match formula is inserted where the row syntax is located in the index formula most frequently. The first part of the index formula references an array. So if we were to open up the index formula, we can see that the first part of it indexes an array, and the second part is in regards to the row number and then column number. So as you can see in cell C17, we show the index formula being used. The first part, E31 to E37, is the array, and then we open up the match function. Let's take a look at an example. In our example, the investment banking analyst at a top investment bank in New York would like to calculate the total sales bookings by state for a company the bank is considering investing in. The analyst received the number of sales made per state along with the average deal size per month. The sales information by state is available by month as well in the below table. Using the data, the analyst needs to estimate the monthly sales dollar amount by state. So as you can see, starting in row 26, we've got the raw data for states, segments, and the number of sales per month starting from January through July. The average deal size is in row 35. So for instance, for January, the average deal size was $256,218, and there were deals across New York through Colorado. So if we open up cell E68, we can see how the index and match formula are working together to calculate the amount of sales within each state by month. So in cell E68, we can see that the index match formula starts with the index, and what we're indexing is cells E27 through K33. If we scroll up to see what that's comprised of, it's the number of deals by month. So we're referencing that entire table for each state and for each month. If we go back down to the formula, we can see that after referencing the array, then we're inserting the match formula. So now we want to specify the row number, right? So if you look at the index formula, it starts with the array and then it goes to the row number and then the column number. So in this case, we want to return a specific row number. We use the match number to return the row number by matching the state. And if we do a lookup of the state within the state column, i.e. column C starting in row 27 through 33, then we're looking up New York within that data, and in this case, it's row C27. So we're doing a lookup of New York within the state column, and we want to use an exact match, and so we're using comma 0. Then we're inserting the match function again because we want to look up the column number, and we want to see which column in the array January relates to. So we want to match cell E67, i.e. January, and we want to do a lookup of that within range E26 through K26. And if we scroll back up to E26 through K26, you'll see that's the header for the table's months. In this case, it's going to return the first column, i.e. January. Then we're putting comma 0 because we want to look for an exact match. Finally, we're multiplying all of that by cell E35, which is the average deal size for January, right? So we want to multiply the average deal size by the state number of sales and the month number of sales. And if we press enter, it gets us $256,218 for New York sales dollar amounts for January. Let's take a look at cell F69. In this case, we're referencing California and February. So the formula stays the same, except for if you take a look at the match part of the formula, we're now referencing cell C69, which has changed. We're locking the first part of the cell, i.e. C, because we don't want that to change as we drag things up, down, and across. We only want the row number to change, i.e. row 68 through 74 when we drag it up and down. So California is being referenced in this case. We don't have a dollar sign in front of 69. In the second part of the match formula, where we do a lookup of the month header, we lock row 67 because we don't want that to change as we copy the formula down and across. We only want the column to change, and therefore we didn't insert a dollar sign in front of F. So if I were to go over to cell G69, I can see that it becomes G67, i.e. the row is locked, but the column is not locked. We can consistently drag and copy that formula throughout our entire table here, and it's going to produce our results of the sales figures by state and by month. We can also then summarize this data at the bottom by using the SUMIFS formula, by taking the SUMIFS of the sum range January and the condition being looking up segment as the criteria range and NOAM east or west as being the criteria, and that just provides a nice summary for us at the bottom of the table. So that's how you use the index and match formula. You're indexing a range or array of data, and then you're using the match function to do a lookup of what row number you want it to return a result of, and then you're using the match function to do a lookup of what column number you want to return a result of. So it's pretty flexible in that sense. Let's go on to take a look at the DGET formula and how that compares against using the index match formula. So the DGET formula is a database lookup function which references an array and returns a result, i.e. the field referenced. And this has the option of setting multiple criteria within the lookup. So here's the DGET formula. It starts with equals DGET, and then you look up a database, comma, field, comma, criteria. The typical use case for this is to do quick lookups, but it's not as flexible as the index match formula. The benefit of this formula is mainly in cases where you need to perform a lookup using multiple criteria, and a VLookup is not appropriate since a VLookup only works with one criterion. Therefore, you either want to use a sum product formula or an index match or a DGET. Those ones are the most flexible, and they're far more flexible than a VLookup. A DGET is also short, and it can be simple and easy to use in some cases. So if I just need to do a quick database lookup, I'll often use the DGET formula. If I need flexibility, then I'll use an index match formula. Let's take a look at an example. So in our example for the DGET formula, let's assume we want to perform a quick lookup of data and only retrieve a certain value based on a particular state and month. That works well for a DGET formula. If you want to do something more complex, you typically want to use the index match formula. As we saw in the previous example, we created a whole table of data using the index and match. As you can see, starting in row 102 through 103, we have a drop-down created for state, and in cell E103, we have a drop-down created for month. So I can easily toggle between the different months. Let's choose March, and I can choose the different states. Let's choose California. And when I do that, the DGET formula and the index match formula are in cells F and G103, and they show the dollar amount. And as you can see, the index match formula returns the same result as the DGET formula. The DGET formula in this case is a lot simpler to use. You're just using the DGET, and then you're doing a database lookup of cells C67 through K74, which is the entire data table. Let's take a look at that section of what's being referenced. So we're referencing the entire data table. And then for the second part of the formula, we're referencing the field i.e. cell E103, which is the month of March, and March is the column header. And then for the criteria, we're highlighting both the word state and California, which is going to do a lookup of that within the table. And as you can see in the table, California is in column C. So that's how you use the DGET formula. You're basically just referencing the entire table, setting the field that you want to look up as the column header, and then indicating what the criteria is for the specific row lookup. For the index match formula, you're indexing the values within the table, and then you're matching the row number and column number based on certain conditions met, i.e. California and March. Therefore, regardless of how you change the dropdowns, the DGET formula and the index match formula, given these two formulas, will return the same result. So they're interchangeable in this situation. However, the DGET formula isn't as flexible as the index match formula, and so that's what I wanted to point out. For instance, let's rearrange the sales data by segment and then by state, and then show the respective sales amounts in a columnar format. We do that starting in row 117. Using the DGET formula, we are successful in retrieving the result for California in January through July, i.e. row number 119. But the DGET formula breaks when we try to perform a lookup on the second row, i.e. for Texas. This is because the formula now includes a range of cells, as you can see when I open up the formula for the DGET formula in cell E120. It's now referencing the table of segment and state for multiple rows, i.e. rows 119 and 120. If I wanted to get this formula to work, I would have to just limit it to using row 119. So if I open up cell E119, I can see that I've got the segment and state header highlighted, as well as row 119 for NOAM West and California. But if I were to try to highlight another row, it's just not going to work. On the other hand, if I were to use the index match formula, let's go to cell E126, I can easily use the index match formula by doing a lookup of California as the state and January is the month. And then in cell E127, I can do a lookup of Texas and January without changing the formula, just modifying the lookup values by not locking the respective rows and columns for the month and state lookup. And I can drag that across and it'll populate all of the cells. So as you can see, the index match formula is more flexible if you're looking up a wider range of data and you want to populate the results for more data points, whereas the DGET formula is a quick and easy formula to use if you just want to do a lookup of a database on a specific set of criteria.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.